Well, we should be live. People should be able to hear us and see us. Um, I have been sick most of this past week, and my voice is still a little weak. So hopefully, we're coming over, or at least I'm coming over loud enough. Folks can tell us if that is other than the case. But tonight, we have some first edition Dungeons and Dragons going on as we play through the A series, the Slave Lord series of classic Dungeons and Dragons. And tonight, we've got Dion. Who's your character? What class and what level?
Hi, I'm Patty Arquette, the human barbarian, and he's level 5.
And Friendin.
Hi, I'm Grown Wolf, and I'm the level 6 magic user, level 2 cleric, and I'm an elf. And hopefully, I eat something bad tonight, which is what I like to do.
It happens. It just always happens. Jeff.
Yep, I've got a female uh, mule skinner. She was a fighter for 2 levels, and then she saw the light of druidism and became a druid. Her name is Talina.
I imagine that's right when you're about to kill an animal and it turns around and talks to you. And it's like, oh, well, crap. And Oak.
Hey, Zope. I'll be playing Cyborg, a level 7 half-orc warrior.
And Richard won't be joining us tonight, but will hopefully be back next week. He's also not feeling so well. So last time, guys, had this fight here on the room that's on the screen now, and well, you prevailed. There was an illusionist who, with the help of some kobolds, in here to just keep people away. You're guessing. Talina was able to talk down a rust monster. It's currently eating a whole bunch of metal in a trap room that you guys came through earlier. Um, Fiber and Grown Wolf and Patty, you guys had finished slaying all the kobolds and the illusionist that was in this room. So we have the aftermath. Is kind of where we stopped last time. So you're in this room, gigantic kind of throne room with a bunch of stone pillars and this amazing throne that the illusionist was sitting on. So we'll just pick it up from there, Talina. Um, Again, you ran back after getting the rust monster situated, so it's back there gorging itself. And again, if
So,
my voice fades in and out and you can't hear me so well, just say so. I'll try to put a little bit more oomph behind it.
Is there clothing on this illusionist?
He's wearing robes. Nothing too
Perfect.
fancy.
I
Certainly, the thing about it is that he was a wizened old man, possibly a gnome, and you're a
mm,
gigantic brute of a man yourself.
mm,
It's not really going to do much. I mean, you could wrap it around your waist and kind of
that's
tuck it in and turn it into some diapers, maybe.
I was gonna tie it into a fundoshi.
Yeah, there you go.
Honestly, I genuinely was gonna just diaper myself with his robes, but first I'm gonna look at it because I just know from dealing with mages for a while that their robes sometimes have some funny things, so I'm gonna stare at it. I'm
Sure.
gonna try and I have no idea, and I just stare at it because I
Okay.
don't get a good feeling, and I'm just like, and I just
Yeah,
like,
that tingling sensation doesn't go off. It's something you notice when you pick up the robes is that it's a bit heavier than it seemed at first. It seems like there's something in a secret pouch on the inside. And kind of
I
just moving
hand it.
around, feeling it out. There's a dagger
Oh,
hidden
okay.
on an inside sleeve pocket. You'll also notice the dead body has a bracelet on its left wrist.
Oh. I just gingerly slide the bracelet off and make sure I procure the items, and I just like hold them all up to Thybor real quick, like, I found this. I just don't know who to hand it to because Richard isn't here, and I always hand stuff to I always hand stuff to his character when I find it, so I just hand it to the boss.
So
And I
Richard's
just look at
character
the
got
robe.
beaten up pretty bad. So we're just gonna say that he's just kind of in the corner nursing his wounds for this adventure.
He's knocked out, and you actually still hand it to him. You just throw the wristlet at him, and it bounces off his sleeping body.
Which reduces him to -1, and he goes from
Oh, no.
Oh,
unconscious to dying.
no. I used my first aid because I can do that. So I give Thybor the stuff and I tell him like here, and I ask if I can keep the robe because I want to cover myself up for modesty because
Here,
I'm
use it for a
naked.
loincloth.
Yeah.
While they're doing that, I'm gonna feel around the edge of the room with my elfishness chance to detect secret doors. I wanna see if there's any. He's an illusionist. I don't trust this room, is what I'm getting at.
Yeah, and I had pre-rolled for those of you that have just natural innate things. Yes, there is a concealed door behind
Ooh.
the wall to the northeast. You play around with it enough to be able to you slide this panel across, and there's a very stout-looking stone door that has an intricate-looking key lock on it.
Before we do that, do you do anything special with these? And hold up the items that Orcs handed.
I think I used detect magic when we faced that stone monster, and I can't. We slept once since then, didn't we?
No.
Or no?
No.
Okay. Then I can't right now, actually. I'd be like, well, after my next rest, I can give him a more thorough look-see, but I'm going to need some preparation.
Patty, this is actually would be considered a separate item. If you want to try again for each item,
Yeah.
you can.
How many?
It's a bracelet thing.
Dagger and the bracelet.
No and no.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're going in strong tonight, boys.
Get all those bad rolls out of the way.
My
That's
feng
right.
shui is off.
Both of them look well crafted.
Mm-hmm.
They're certainly expensive items, if nothing else.
Okay. Well, they're worth keeping around until I can figure out what they are.
No problem. Here, you want to keep them in your bag so when you're ready, you'll have them?
Absolutely, and if I find out anything interesting, I'll let everyone know.
I imagine Grown Wolf tests for magic by putting everything in his mouth.
You know what? That's the kind place he would put it.
Well, say, let's hope it's only the mouth.
Yeah, exactly.
His bowels tell him when he passes it.
That's exactly just down the gullet. Yeah. I do have those stones, which may come out at any moment. Actually,
Could
I
be.
did.
Yeah, could be.
All
right. Also roll a d6 since you're kind of using your passive ability as an elf, but also you said you were searching as well. So roll me a d6.
Okay. Doing that. And Uno.
Okay. Yeah. So the other thing that you notice is that the throne, as impressive as it looked for the illusion that the gnome was casting, it's actually poorly put together, and you notice the whole back of the throne doesn't quite match the front of the throne. There's definitely something squirrely about the throne.
As you mentioned the disconnect between the front and the back, I'll sit there and mull it over.
I walk over and I stare at what you're staring at.
Do you want to see if you get a tingy when you look at this, my good man?
Yeah. I stare at it. Should I roll illusion or just detect magic?
Just your detect magic.
Nope.
No idea. No idea.
It's two different colors though. You said?
The throne?
Yeah.
Well, it's let's see here. Give me a second. Yeah, it's a marble throne. It's like this huge throne made of stone, but the back, and it's kind of crudely carved. But the back of it, there's just something that just doesn't look right to you, Grown Wolf. Like the grain of the marble doesn't, if this was carved from a solid block, the back was either a different piece of granite or it's mismatched, but the grain doesn't flow.
Is there anything to get purchase on? Like if I'm searching the edges of it, does it seem like there's anything to get a
Yeah.
blade into? Or
Yeah, you take a blade and you kind of run it across an edge that you're finding, and the back actually does pry off. It's only about a 1/4 inch thick,
oh wow,
and there's a hollow space inside, and there's some clothing. Different. It's not the gnome's clothing. It's made for an average to larger build human. It's really rich robes, kind of like merchant's clothing almost. It's colorful, embroidered. It's kind of more high society clothing, you would think. There's also 2 rolled up scrolls inside, not in tubes. They look like they've been well worn, like they've been referenced a lot. They've been folded and refolded several times. So if you guys look inside the handouts, and I'm just going to pop it up on the screen here. This is one of them. And let me move this for the stream. Hopefully that works. So it's showing like the inside bowl of like a volcano that has well, maybe it's inactive, maybe it's not, but so it's like the inside of a cratered volcano, and it does have the although it doesn't say party, it does have this X on the map that says you are here.
okay. Huh.
Of course, you are not there, but.
So searching this clothing, anything notable in the pockets, anything I can glean aside from these look like nobles or fancy clothes?
Yeah, they seem about the right weight. You don't feel anything hidden amongst them. They're just very nice clothing, made for anyone between like 5'5" and 6 foot.
Okay. And this was one of 2 scrolls, you said, right?
Yes. The second one is kind of the outline, and I'm going to move you guys over to it, of a city.
Oh wow.
Like shows like various shops and places, but there's no key on it. It just kind of shows.
Okay.
Although the rectangle does kind of match up to the first map where the isle is showed, so you're thinking this is the city of Suderham that's shown on that map.
Anyone else find it interesting that there's a round crater in the one map, and then a round something in the center of this city, and also a square something blank on this map? I feel as though there's some synchronicity here between all of those.
Very possible.
Okay. Since you're going through the clothing, go ahead and give me a D6 roll there, friend.
Okay. An Uno again.
Nice.
You actually do find something. They're very light. They're more of these little wooden tokens. At first, you just mistook them for possibly buttons. But you find that they're on a little pocket on the inside sleeve of several of the shirts. And they're little wooden tokens with different brands burned into them, mostly geometric figures.
I kept both one of each of those, and I think some rubbings of the stones that we got.
You did.
Do these match?
These do not match.
Okay.
Gotta catch 'em all.
Yeah.
Slaver coins.
Yeah, I'm gonna get the complete set of Slavermon, which is apparently token based instead of ball based. Okay.
We love side quests.
So of the opponents that we fought in this room, who do we have?
Nobody's left alive. They're all dead.
Right, but who were they?
Well, there was a gnome illusionist, possibly a gnome, could be just a really short old guy, and a bunch of gnomes, or excuse me, gnolls.
Gnolls, okay. So are the gnolls armored?
They are not. They had bows and short swords, but not armored.
I think you mentioned spears last time.
Yep, they do have spears that were all thrown. You can see if any of them are still good.
Yeah, I need to go scrounge me up one because Rusty took to the liking to my spear.
I use the 50%, so there'll be 6 that are still fine.
Okay, I'll grab the 2 best out of it that
Mhm.
I can pull out of it, and you know, utilize those because I didn't have any more spears, and the clothing. Uh, I was looking for something that I'm not looking for a full-on robe because she is more of an outdoorsy person. Um, is can she take parts of it, or and adapt it to what she needs? Because right now she's basically
Most of you
in
guys have
underwear.
some issues. Now, the gnome's robe was taken by Patty, and he's kind of turned it into underwear. So the
Mm.
only clothing that is still around is some of the nobles' clothing that was just unearthed by Groenwolf. There are no gowns in there. It looks like it's all menswear, but certainly you could fit with some tucking any of the clothing that's in there.
Yeah, I could if I could find some trousers and just
Hmm.
just
Yeah, I
some.
pass. I pass all that over to you,
Yep.
and I say like, it looks like you could use this.
So could you, as a matter of fact, since
Yeah.
your robe is missing from the waist
Mm-hmm.
down.
Uh-huh. Hey, you know what? Grownwolf is comfortable with that. Grownwolf feels enlightened enough to just kind of kick it like that. Although I'll probably at this point take actually my top and just invert it. Just
Yeah,
basically
drop
just put a
it down.
slit in it, turn into a kilt, and walk around shirtless, shirts and skin style.
There you go.
Oh, I do like that it took a lull in combat before, just out in the world doing the thing. Uh,
I'm
let's
gonna
see.
take 2 of those spears that Talina left. Add them to my little spear collection that I got going.
Hmm.
Okay.
Cool. Yeah, so far, Groenwolf's the only one that's really been looking around. He discovered that secret door to the northeast in the corner there that's got a really sturdy-looking stone door and metal keyhole in it there. Otherwise, just kind of looking around, other than these dead kobolds and this one dead gnome, there's not a lot else in here. Now, there are all these stone pillars. But other than that, there's really nothing else in this room. Got the throne, got the pillars. That's it.
I drag Tristan's passed out body to the door that needs unlocking, and I just kind of push him against it a few times, hoping something happens.
Guess there's the glyph of warding or something. When you
Yeah.
Right. No, there doesn't seem to be anything about the door that is setting anything off, but it certainly doesn't budge. You pushing this
Yeah.
slab of
How
meat
about
up
Like-
against it.
Yeah.
How about overhead? Anything up on top?
It's got a pretty high ceiling in here. These are like
Mhm.
good 20, 30-foot ceilings that all of these columns are kind of supporting above you. You shine your light up and look around. It's mostly just bare stone. You don't there at some point there used to be a like a fresco up there, but it's all faded and paint chipped. You really can't make much out of it anymore.
So everyone, if you'd like, if we take a break, kind of lick our wounds, let everybody heal up a bit. If we have time to, if we feel it's safe to, obviously. I could try just shrinking this door. Or we could try detecting magic on some of these items. Maybe they have something to do with how things are opened here. But right now, with our good friend who's a redistribution expert, indisposed, I think I'm a little stuck myself. I'm not able to bash this door down, at least.
Is that not something that me and the big guy here can take care of?
Maybe. I
yeah.
can't.
If you
Is
want
it
to
a
try,
door?
it's wide enough that both of you can try to ram it at once.
What's it made of?
Stone.
Dion, you got the better roll, so I guess we get like a bonus for me helping out, or
What do I
Well,
gotta
you
do?
can both roll.
What do I gotta do?
You've got a
open doors.
yeah, open doors chance.
I don't know.
Yeah,
if
don't you
I-
have that
It
thing?
should be X number and 6.
It says
Nope, not me.
0 for some reason. So maybe that was the one that was messed up.
Yeah, I think for you it's 3 and 6 because of your strength.
Mine, I've got a 16 and mine's 3 and 6.
Hold on. Maybe I can find it real quick. It's Unearth Arcana, right?
What is your strength?
My
8.
strength is an 18.
I'll say 4 and
Oh.
6. You can go ahead and just roll a d6.
Okay. D6. Boop. 3.
Yeah, it is a stout stone door. Both of you take turns ramming it. You try it together. It doesn't even shift.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I know that's 50% for you, but there's something special about the door.
That's fair.
Was there any kind of key on the any of the bodies?
No key that you found at all.
Also, you did mention the columns, so I'm going to check out the columns as well while they're doing the door bashing. And
Sure. Roll me a d6. Yep. You start going through the columns. They're pretty crude stone. Some of them look like they were put in secondarily, like maybe the original ones broke, because some of them are much better shaped, much better formed. But you're not really finding anything like a secret compartment or anything like that in them.
gotcha.
Okay. How is everybody doing on health? I mean, you guys are pretty badly beaten up, I think, after what went
Yeah,
on.
I'm like 7 of 71.
Yeah. Because somebody's mentioned securing the room and taking a rest.
Yeah. Not doing great. So we have one means of entrance, right, to this room.
Yeah. It's a door back here that you can bar from your side.
I think we're still on the handout map, the new one.
Oop,
At least I am.
Yeah. And move you back here.
Yeah, no worries.
Where's the map? There's so many maps in here.
Yeah. The juggling.
There you go. So,
Okay.
yeah, there's just that door
Okay.
here that you can bar from the inside. It's a pretty stout door as well.
All right. I'm gonna go ahead and bar the door and pile all the knoll bodies in front of it too, so that way even if somebody comes in, they're gonna trip over something.
Sure. Okay, good enough. I assume you guys set watches of some sort. Okay, yeah. So you guys have a sparse meal. Bandage your wounds. Get what sleep you can. So it's just 1 hit point is all you get back. But Grown
Right.
Wolf, it does mean that you're fully
But I-
rested, so that you can. Yes, you can use your first aid.
Yeah. 2 plus con mod, everyone. So.
Okay, nice.
So a night's rest is just 1 hit point back plus any con bonus or your con bonus to the minimum of 1. You can't get less than 1.
Right.
And Patty goes through and slaps some ointments and salves on you.
I
if you let
spit
her.
on it.
Yeah,
and
spit
I
on
rub
it.
it out really hard. And I slap it a couple times. It'll get better now. Needs blood flow. Smack, smack, smack.
There you go. The last of your hit points.
Oh no.
Kill Richard.
So you're able to get your spells back.
Yeah.
Normal. So go ahead and pick the ones that you're going to use for the day.
That's yep.
Does anybody need the Tears of Morrigan? Any
What's
healing?
that?
Are
Oh.
you like down far enough that you know?
Thiber's down pretty far too.
Yeah, after
Yeah.
resting, I'm 11 of 71.
Oh god.
Whoa.
Yeah, heal him.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm almost full.
Okay, so yeah, I will burn a Cure Light. It's one of my second levels, and to get it, go ahead and roll for that. I'll let you roll it. Basically, that's my
Like a
cop out.
1d8 or 2d8?
It's a 1d8.
Yay, 2.
Okay.
Right. So
Now
it's
playing the part of Richard.
We do have a lot of re-rolls if you want to re-roll that for more HP. We have
I would do
33.
it. Yeah, definitely.
Is it just 1 for 1?
yeah.
Yeah, I'll re-roll it.
There you go. That's much better.
Yay!
Yeah, that's nice.
Okay. So you sleep fitfully.
Yep.
It's cold floors. There's really nothing to use as a cover or blankets. You just
I
use your
sleep on and
backpacks.
in the dead knolls. Actually, they're
Yeah,
so
there you go.
comfortable.
Yeah. You find one with
Fiber
the
and-
softest fur and just lay on that one.
Fiber and I are cuddling. We're spooning. He's big spoon. Talina's just shivering in the corner.
I look at Talina and I'm like, "There's no place like home," as I sleep on a
Wait,
knoll.
did the rust bug come with us, or is it still back there?
Oh, it's still back there.
Okay,
He's
okay.
back
That's
there.
probably better.
Wait, by
It-
now he's probably dug into the gears and everything.
Yeah.
But Oak, are you sure you don't want one more? I've got 4 basically, and I know they're my second levels. It's all the second levels I have is
So-
4. But we need muscle, we need power. So
Well, keep in mind,
So
if
I-
you didn't use all of them before you slept, you could have used all of them then and then get them all
Right.
back in the morning. So,
Then I've got a cure light wounds ready to go too for whoever, probably Thyber as well at this
Okay.
point.
well, why don't you guys
Yeah,
go ahead
I'm
and take care of those?
Down 50 hit points, so
Yeah, I'm gonna roll that D8 for you, Thyber, unless you want to roll it.
feel free.
Okay, 6.
Not bad.
and
Be
take
healed.
the one that I didn't roll from prior,
Hmm.
because I had 1 second level left.
Okay.
So you can go ahead and take that one.
All right. So
So go
roll
ahead and
another
roll
D8. Oak. Okay. So a bit of magic, a bit of rest, and you're feeling a little bit better.
Okay.
I'm feeling warmed up after laying hands on this man's, and I detect magic to see while looking at the door and holding these new items in front of me. I kind of get everything in a pile.
Okay. So the bracer is magic, as is the dagger.
Okay.
The door is not.
Okay.
What type of dagger is it? What's the style of the dagger?
Blade is about maybe 10 inches long. It's thin. It doesn't have much of a cross guard. The metal is a little kind of grayish. It doesn't. It's not shined at all.
You said
Well
it's
balanced.
thin?
Could be thrown.
It's
Yeah,
thin.
because
Actually,
I would
Talina,
take an interest in that.
if you're looking
'cause
at it
that-
closely, it's the blade's actually thin enough. You look at that lock on the door, and you look at the blade. The
Yeah.
blade is like exactly the same width as the lock.
Oh. Anybody mind if I take and I just immediately snatch it and I slot it into the door?
You kind of turn it back and forth
Okay.
a little bit, and you feel there's some mechanism inside that it seems to be engaging with. And you give it a hard turn, and the lock opens, and you're able to push this heavy stone door. The stone is almost a foot thick, which is why you guys
Oh.
weren't able just to shoulder it open. And when you get a good look at the side of the door, there's multiple steel bars that this lock used to engage into the side, which is also of stone reinforced with steel. This was quite a substantial door.
I'm not going to lie. If that didn't work, I was thinking about just kiting our little rust monster friend into here and just having him work on the lock and through it, possibly. So I'm glad that, daggers make good door friends. I don't know what to do with this thing. And I take the dagger and I'm like, anybody want it? Anybody want it? I don't know.
For
Yeah,
bookkeeping
He
purposes,
said it was magical, wasn't it?
yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Talina, if you wanted it, I think she put her hand in the air. Anyway,
Yeah.
it's a dagger +2, and
Oh, nice.
the bracer is bracer defense armor class 4. So if you put it on and your armor class is worse than 4, it now becomes 4.
Oh. Is that something a magic user could wear?
Definitely.
Okay. In that case, I'm like, hey, feeling a little better, a little more buff when I put this on. Everybody, anyone mind if I handle this?
Feel free.
Ooh, I feel so fancy as I clasp it on. Now I'm just wearing like a kilt made out of a top and a bracer, and I just feel so buff now.
Somehow you feel more protected.
That's right.
Nice.
Does
So
Richard, he can only use dagger, can he?
no, there's a few other things you can use: short sword, dagger,
And he's got that new magic invisible short sword too.
That's right.
So behind the door is a long passageway. It's worked stone, and it looks like again that this used to be like maybe a mining tunnel of some sort. After the worked stone kind of ends, you see logs have been used to shore up the passage where it began to fall, and they just shored it up to keep that from happening. And it goes just straight for a really long distance. Eventually, the passage is all dirt and it's kind of like a natural um, tunnel. Again, it's got the wood bracing everything up, but it just
Before we
goes.
get out there-
It's a long, long passage.
Okay. Before we head out there, what do you guys think about getting Rusty and bringing him with us?
I don't have a problem with that as long as, like, he's well fed and isn't going to eat our stuff. I'm kind of half the man I used to be already at this point.
Well,
Yeah, I
we
don't
could
think
bring
so,
him out
mate.
of there, and he can nibble on these iron bracers that are on the door there. These iron mechanical things, and I'm pretty sure I can handle them. I have handled mules, and he's what, about a dog size, like a mastiff, or what is he?
Yeah, he's about the size of a large dog.
Yeah.
Could be handy. I mean, it could have worked on the lock if we hadn't found out the dagger thing.
Yeah. Who knows? Yeah.
And
Before
you
the
do have
next
animal
boss
training,
is-
right?
Yes, I do.
Okay, make me a wisdom check.
And before the next boss is heavily armored, and we just sick a rust monster on him.
Sick 'em, Rusty!
Food.
Yeah.
Okay.
I have an 18.
Yeah, you can kind of wrangle it. I mean, it's going to take some training to actually be able to give it commands, but you can get it to follow you and to do simple things right now.
Yeah. For
It's
now.
going to take some
We'll see.
time to actually train it.
I'm not going to be quite like the young lady we had who was
Yeah.
collecting every other
The
month.
menagerie.
Yeah.
All right. So you guys march down this passageway, and it goes and goes and goes. A couple of hours pass, and you're still walking.
Oh, wow.
Eventually, you start to see natural light at the end of the tunnel. Flickerings of dawn, it looks like. It looks like you spent a solid, 24 hours inside this labyrinth. And when you come out, the entrance to this tunnel is overgrown with ivy and tall grass, which you just kind of push away, and you find yourself exiting a small hill. These grasses and vines look like they were put there specifically to block the entrance. They're not really growing, they've just been kind of laid across it. And much like that map you found, you see yourself on a small ridge line on the edge of the inside of a volcano looking down below. And you can see that there's a sea that's collected inside of this very large crater. You can see docks. There's a city down there, and just outside of the city are a bunch of like lean-tos and tents of probably the less well-to-do. But there's it's just maybe a half mile below you. You see this incredibly large city. There is a trail that goes down from this hill, kind of winds itself down. If you follow the trail, it looks like you're going to end up in the area just outside of the city, where all these lean-tos and these small huts and tents are.
Now, did our map had the X on it? Did it also have the notes like scum, slum, and slave lords and
Yes.
some of that other stuff? Okay.
Yes.
So I hold up the scroll and I'm like, I'm not the brightest bright man around, but there seems to be kind of a one-to-one thing here. Seems some smattering of farming, slave lords, slums. Kind of a fun time. It looks like down here.
So the map is it's trade common is what everything's written in.
I stare at it, and stare at it, and stare at it.
I point out to Patty where each of the things are in case Patty's not catching the language stuff so good with the reading, because I'm not sure.
I don't know how to read.
Yeah, it's some Lieutenant Dan Forrest Gump shit happening here between the two of us.
That happens in college level barbarian school. Patty never got out of kindergarten.
Yeah, they said I didn't play well with others.
Mama said scrolls are like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're gonna affect. But yeah, so, and are we entering where the X was more or less as we?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
You're on a hill. You're on the hill, kind of on the ridge, midway down this volcanic area, this depression.
Okay. Now I'd missed the session before the last, so I don't remember. I don't remember what entering this particular dungeon was for. Were we hoping to find like the secret lair of the slave lords at this point?
Well, actually, it was
Yeah.
the same place you had been before,
Was it?
and you brought the authorities back trying to find where all these slavers went. And the place
Oh.
was completely cleaned out. Like everyone that was in there was gone, but there was no reports of a large band of people moving across across the mountainside. So they were trying to find out where they went. And so
Okay.
it looks like you just found out. They all
Found, yeah.
used an escape tunnel coming out inside of this crater.
Okay. Well, it looks like the party's happening here, everybody. Do we want to go get authorities, or what do we want to do at this point?
Well, you mentioned that we were wandering the tunnel for about an hour, right? I mean, 24 hours.
Mm-hmm.
So would that have initiated another rest period?
Well, you rested once when you were through here for a few hours, and then you had a full night's sleep. So, out of all of that, that was 24 hours. There was only one
Okay.
opportunity to really get your spells
Gotcha.
back, though.
All right.
Let's see. What is there anything handy I can do? Are there any buildings? Because we see on the map that it says like slave lords in a couple of spots, but
Yeah,
it's
let's go to the second scroll that you found in there, which is
Yeah.
like this overlay of the. You're
Yeah.
assuming the town below you.
Right.
Nothing is numbered or marked on there, but it's basically got all the buildings laid out that's in that city.
Okay. When I'm looking down at this map and looking at the city, does it look like any of the buildings looks like a capital or like the main thing that's protected by the walls of the city? Like, is there any building that looks prominent and special?
Well, the entire city is walled. So, like,
Okay.
you're figuring the have-nots are in that area just
Right.
outside of the city, and otherwise everything inside is walled. And there are 3 buildings that really stand out. You've
Okay.
got so this one here, here, and here really stand out. They're
Okay.
very large buildings. They look kind of central. Like if you were to break this up into 4 quadrants, for instance, those 3 are the most prominent buildings.
Okay. Hmm.
Well, if there's a city, there's a good chance there's a sewer system, right?
Actually, sewers
It
are not
might
common
be a
at
way
all.
to gain entrance.
Do we have any idea what city this might be?
Well, that's just it. It's this is a hidden city of some sort. It's in the lake of a crater, and you're figuring the mountain range that you were in, and you lived in this area, Thiber, and you've never heard of this before, or never have not come across this.
So I'd like to use clairaudience on one of the 3 prominent buildings' top floor kind of looking thing. Like if
Okay,
there's
so
some
you're
place
still
that I can see.
you're still you're a good mile. It's like
Okay.
away. I mean, you're kind of looking down from a high position on this.
Okay.
What kind of range do you have on that spell?
So clairaudience is kind of ridiculous. It says clairaudience allows the caster to eavesdrop magically upon a particular location. There is no effective limit to the spell's range, but the location must be familiar or be obvious, like the top floor inside
Yeah.
of a tower the caster can see.
Right.
That kind
So
of thing.
from where you are, you cannot see those buildings.
Okay, I just
Yeah.
see like a mass of stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, okay. Well, if we get closer and it looks like there's some place for me to eavesdrop, I'll do it. Maybe we can check out the slums and, like Talina said, maybe find out if there's some means of undercity ingress, or see if what's going on with the people that are stuck outside of this thing.
Or maybe maybe just two of us.
Yeah.
then
Right
do
now,
the
so
two of us-
Talina is the only one that looks, quote, properly dressed. Although she's
Okay.
wearing man's clothing. I mean, she's taken some time to kind of, tuck it in here and there so that it at least looks normal.
Yeah.
I think Fiber's armor is pretty much intact, so Fiber looks like your general mercenary. But everyone else in the group, I mean, you've got ripped up rags, or in the case
Yeah.
of Patty, you're wearing somebody's robe as your your diaper
Loincloth
there.
diaper, yeah.
Well, we could have two go recon, and two of us could head back and report. Maybe just be like, "Yo, they're here," and then meet back, or
Do we want to separate like that?
I don't know.
I don't mind the idea of like two briefly scouting the slums or city walls, but the idea of like totally leaving seems a bit scary.
So it's early morning, like the
Yeah.
morning sun is just filtering through. You see in the area just outside of the city proper, a lot of people are starting to. It looks like the small boats that you're seeing in what's amounting as a harbor, they're fishing boats. So a lot of people
Okay.
are going out with nets and they're starting their morning fishing. You see some people tending gardens. The city itself, the walls are, you've got a good vantage point, but the walls are up high enough that it obscures a lot. There's a lot of smoke coming out of fireplaces, which makes seeing down into the city itself a little difficult.
Okay.
From what we can see, are the walls stone?
The walls are stone, yeah.
The walls are stone, okay. So, in the mornings, you have the farm folk coming in, right? Farmers market type thing happening in the morning.
Yeah, you're not
So
really
you got
seeing
people
that
coming
though.
in.
You imagine looking at the map that you have and kind of orienting it where the front gates would be, and it doesn't look like the front gates are opened. And so the people that are living just outside of the town seem like they're doing their own thing, and then whatever's going on in the city, it's its own thing. It doesn't look like there's a lot of back and forth between the two.
Yeah.
Well,
So
maybe recon the soft target being the petty people, the little people. And by recon, I mean just go there and get the layout and come back, not intense role playing and going through and buying stuff. Just having a good look see.
So I did prepare invisibility. We could go ahead and traipse in as we get closer. It'll basically make everyone invisible unless we attack something or are aggressive, and it lasts. It actually doesn't say in Osric, at least. It just basically says until I attack, which seems crazy.
What is this? Is this
Invisibility
or
10
mass?
feet. Invisibility 10 feet,
Okay,
just not the
so
mass
you have to
invis-
stay
yeah.
within that area for it to continue to work. As
Oh,
well.
I see.
Yeah, give me a second here.
Yeah, it's the third level invisibility spell for magic user.
Okay. Third level invisibility. So Yeah. So this is a first edition thing. Basically, yes, you stay invisible, much like
Mhm.
Richard's sword does for him until he draws
Okay.
the sword. But yeah, in this case, until you do a violent action, which doesn't have to be attacking. Like if you strike at something, if you trip and fall over something, making that would end the invisibility.
Right.
And it is a radius, so you all have to stay pretty close together for it to work. It's centered on you or whoever you want to center it on.
Okay. So, I mean, I could cast it on, frankly, I think Thybor, you might be the most useful with it. And because you tend to be the vanguard anyway, and then we all kind of huddle with you and traipse through and try not to bump into anything too obviously, or just get close enough to scout things out.
We need Richard here.
Yeah. Yeah, actually, you know what? Somebody could take his sword for right now while he's, if he doesn't mind, Richard.
Blame.
He's out cold. Just take the sword. Actually, no. He fell asleep with the sword on. You have no idea where his body
Oh
is.
shit! He's 24 hours the other way. Oh shit!
You have no idea.
I think he left us, everybody. He's nowhere to be found. Meanwhile, use
Everybody
detect
start
magic.
urinating all over the room. We'll find him.
Oh, I love it.
No, you can use this sword if you want. That's fine.
Okay. Does anybody want to do that and just scout things out, or do we want to cast the spell? I'm fine with either.
Patty wants to take this
Okay.
opportunity
Patty.
to be sneaky.
Yeah. You know what? When I look at this group and I think, who's going to be the stealthiest, Patty, it is definitely you. And I hand Patty the sword.
Oh, I look at the sword, and I'm invisible now once I hold it, aren't I? Because it's
Yeah.
in the scabbard.
Yep.
So do I see myself?
You do not know.
Oh, you just hear him like amazed. He's just standing there, like looking at what he thinks is his hand holding the sword. He's just, oh. It's just-
Making all that noise isn't very stealthy.
Hey, Patty, remember when we met you and they had sewn your mouth shut? I'm starting to understand why.
Oh, sneaky.
We used to
quiet.
play this
Okay.
role-playing game called Legend of the Five Rings, and one of the clans was the Crab Clan, which were the big,
Yeah.
beefy barbarian side. So they have Crab Ninja, where they went around and they went, "You don't see us! Don't see a thing!"
Yes.
It's like 40k orcs, like they just believe it hard enough that through
Yeah,
intimidation.
that's purple. Purple's a sneaky color.
Yeah, exactly.
Love
So
that.
you paint yourself purple and you're invisible.
There you go. All right, Patty. So you've got this sword that makes you invisible to yourself as well. As your friends point out, though, you can still be sensed by other means.
Yeah.
Sound, smell, things like that.
Okay.
So are you going to go down into the outside kind of village and check it out?
Yeah, I'm gonna just wander in and just be wary of my surroundings
Alright.
to make sure I'm not near anyone.
So make me a wisdom check.
Oh no. I think I fail by 1.
Okay.
Yep.
No, that's fine. So a couple of times, people bump into you because you can't see yourself. You're not exactly sure how to pace that. So a few times people bump into you.
Oh,
they kind of look
sorry.
around. Yeah, they're like, "What?"
That's
Pardon
perfect.
me.
Yep. Luckily for you, most of them seem to be still nursing a hangover from the night before, so they just kind of wash it off as that. So most of the people that you're seeing are fishermen. They're women out preparing nets as the husbands go out and cast it into the crater lake that's formed out here, and it looks like that's the primary means of feeding themselves here. Fish proteins. There are some gardens. You do see people out tending mostly what look like root vegetables. The people here are not slaves. Like, they don't seem to be at any rate. They don't. They're not dressed like you've seen the slavers dress their slaves. These look like they're here of their own ability. Outside of the city walls, in the city, now that you're this close to it and you're seeing those walls, the city itself is old. I mean, the stonework is wonderfully done, although it's chipping. You can see the signs of age. The walls are like 20 feet tall, and they're 30-foot on the corners. There are watchtowers 30 feet up. You see fully armed and armored men that are up there, kind of just observing everything. So you can't see into the city because these really tall walls. The front gates, massive stone gates, are closed, but there is like a smaller man-sized opening in one that is open, and there are some guards just kind of standing out front. But you don't see any of the people from out here going in there. So it looks like, yeah, these people just are, they're making a living off the ocean here. Well, it's not an ocean, it's a lake. Farming, fishing. It doesn't look like there's a lot of trade between them and the city, though.
I'm gonna go up to like someone gardening who's like by themselves, like
Mhm.
a really good distance from anyone else. I'm gonna stand like 10 feet away from them, from like behind.
Uh-huh.
It's is there like a little old lady anywhere?
You can find an old woman who's out repairing nets. Looks
Okay.
like a husband and her sons are out fishing. She's just doing some
Alright.
repairing of nets.
Okay, I just approach from behind. I'm still invisible,
Yeah.
and I know that the sword doesn't make you not invisible if you do anything, because I know
Yep.
that my party members have done it. So I'm just like, please do not be alarmed. I just have a couple questions.
Okay. She looks around. She doesn't see you. You see she pulls out a little wine flask from underneath her shirt.
I just say,
Takes a big old gulp, and she kind of looks around a little bit more.
I say, I mean you no harm, little one. I come in peace.
Still kind of looking around, wide-eyed. Takes another squirt of wine. And she just kind of goes back to work, but she's kind of like, her eyes are wide, and she's like stiffly working on the nets,
I go,
looking around from side to side.
tell me about this land.
Okay, make me a charisma check. Let's see
Oh,
how creepy
no.
you are coming across.
Very, I'm sure.
Oh,
Oh,
jeez.
very. You know what? I'm gonna try one reroll.
Okay, go ahead.
But you know what? No. I'm doing 4 for an auto success. We have
alright,
32.
All right,
All right.
mark them
I
off.
just want to fear her as if I'm like a god
Okay,
or
so
something.
she is definitely scared to death, but she's not running. And she's like, "Well, what do you want to know? We're just simple fisher folk."
The town, the city, the people that live there.
Yep, she makes some kind of religious sign. We just sell them our wares.
What do they do?
I don't know. They have a lot of people coming and going. They just beautifully dressed folks with large entourages and shiny gold and silver wares. Takes another sip of her wine.
And this area is undiscovered of the outside world.
Well, I mean, people come and go all the time. Caravans full.
Where do they go?
She kind of points to like the inside rim, kind of like where you came down. There's a trail that rounds the inside of the rim. There's it's wide enough for oxen and wagons that they come from there sometimes.
Through the mountain?
Well, she nods.
Oh. What else should I ask while I'm here? This is a perfect person in character to do this because I don't remember a lot of things to begin with. Just like, do you know any talk of slaves?
Yes. They deal in slaves. Strings of them come and go. They leave us alone. The city is large. I was
Your
inside
people
once as a
support
young
it.
girl before it was taken over. It's old. It's been here a very long time. Only recently have these people taken over. We bring them food, and in return they pay us and they leave us be.
Is there any resistance? to these people?
To what? They leave us alone. They give us good money for our wares.
Mm, thank you for your time. And I just quietly walk away to leave her there.
She's still sitting there trying to weave her nets as her hands are shaking. All right, roll me a D percentage and tell me high or low.
Always high, baby. Yeah, high.
Okay. You see well-dressed man, and the resemblance is close enough. You think maybe his three sons, each of different ages, come out of the building. They seem to be having a conversation with some of the guards out there. You see something pass from one hand to another. Looks like he just gave the guard a token of some sort. It looked a lot like the wooden coins or wooden tokens you've seen Drone Wolf carry. The guard just kind of looks at it and flips it back to the man. And him and his sons, one of his sons brings out a wagon with several horses attached to it. And they start following a path that seems to wind up the inside of the crater.
Okay. All right.
So watching him go, they're going to pass by your friends. Like that road is going to pass by your friends.
Oh, can I beeline it and run?
Oh, absolutely.
Since I'm a fast boy.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm running as fast as I can. Just
Oh, they're moving
along.
slow. They're moving really slow. They've got a wagon being pulled by several horses. They're not going very fast. The trail is wide enough for the wagon and horses, but just barely. So you can get ahead of them easily enough.
Yeah, I'm gonna get there and just
Several
all out of
poor
breath.
farmers are like, "What the hell is that?"
Yeah, that's what I'm picturing that whole time is like the slap, slap, slap of Patty's heavy feet. Yeah,
I run up directly behind people walking on the path and beeline at the last second.
Just shove
to
them
freak them the
aside.
fuck out. But I make it back and I'm just like, you have to go invisible quickly. There's people coming up the path.
How many?
4. 3 sons, and you're probably thinking father.
I give the sword back to Tristan, and you see me counting on my fingers.
This many.
This many.
Okay, so did you see how they got out of the city to come up here? And you said they used the wooden tokens, right?
Yeah, I explained that there's a path along the crater going up to this path, and there's also a path going nearby around the mountains.
What do you say then that we just knock these fools over the head, take their clothes, because some of us could use them, and turn this cart around and pretend we're just coming back for business and use the tokens that we have to pretend to get into the city? It seems so simple, really, when I put it all together like that.
Damn alignment.
My alignment is jerk, basically.
Yeah. Neutral asshole.
Exactly.
All right, so soon enough, you guys hear coming up the inside rim. This man and his sons that are kind of leading the horses. The man is sitting on the wagon. The sons are just kind of leading the horses up this trail.
Now, can any of the rest of us feel or get a sense of who they are, what they're doing, in regards to, like, being from Earth, right, or Earth, whatever? We would see if they're Nyrondese or if they're Kets or if they're people from the north, or and if they're merchants of any particular type, maybe some guild thing, anything that we can tell from their clothing, from their gait, from their weapons.
I think
from their
Fiber and
talk.
Grown Wolf are the only two that would have a shot at that. Talina, you're just from too far away, although they look well dressed. Yeah, you're thinking merchant, but that's really all that, that's really the best that you can do.
And did this might not be something that Talina would know because it occurred before she joined the party. But as she's asking, like, are they merchants? Like, can you tell? We know the context of those wooden tokens that they tend to belong to people that are engaged in the slave trade, right?
Yep.
Yeah, and so I tell Talina, I'm like, realistically, if they use those wooden tokens, these kind of correspond to families that are buying and selling people. So they're probably slavers. If they're probably merchant slavers.
Were these people the old lady's family?
No, absolutely
Oh,
not.
that was a
No.
different house.
Yeah.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
I got confused for a second. Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
Cool.
once you tell me that, yeah, I mean, my outlook totally is against the slaves because I was kept as a
Yeah.
slave. So I have no problem. I start nodding with your whole thing about let's take them down and get their stuff and head on in.
How
It
many
seems
horses?
seems decent to me.
How many horses do they have on their carriage?
4.
4?
Yeah.
Are they Clydesdales? Are they?
They're heavy
are
horses.
they-
It looks like their wagon
heavy
is
horses.
weighed down. Yeah. It looks like whatever they're
Oh.
carrying is quite heavy, especially since how slow they're going. Like you can see the horses are straining. This is somewhat of an angle, right? So that wagon is loaded down with something.
And good
I-
news. Good.
What kind of wagon is it? Is it like a Conestoga wagon?
It's
Is it
covered
like a
wagon.
gypsy
Yeah.
wagon?
It's covered.
It's a covered
Flatbed
wagon.
covered wagon. Yeah.
I saw somebody cast Entangle before in the party, right?
Mhm.
As Patty.
Yeah.
Was it Grownwolf or was it Toledo?
No, it wasn't Talina. It was Odette.
It was
It was
Odette. Yeah.
Odette. Oh, so okay, never mind.
I
Don't know.
did it.
It was
Oh, you
pretty
you
good.
did? Okay.
Yeah, when we were in
So-
the on my entree when I was running away from
Oh,
the slavers and
yeah.
they were chasing me,
Perfect. Okay, so I've seen
and
you
I
cast
did
it.
I did the thing.
I kind of
Yeah.
lean over to Talina and I'm like, "Can you do the plant thing? The carriage will be fast if they run."
Yeah.
Grunwolf and Thiber. Why don't both you guys make me intelligence checks?
Okay. Success, but low success.
That would be a no.
All right. Kind of a light coppery skin tone. The sun's a little deeper. You figure that they're just Flannis. They're just the general members of the society of this area. The way they're dressed, they're definitely merchants. While of good cloth and good make, they're certainly not nobles. But they could be
Okay.
working for a noble or transporting goods for a noble. They're not outsiders. The people of the Flannis inhabit this area or come through this area fairly frequently.
So here's the good news. If we enact this plan to whop them over the head with something heavy and take their clothes, we can ask them some questions too.
I can do the entangle thing and slow the cart to a halt.
Yeah, and then they won't be able to run away. Because my other thought was to murder the horses, but you like animals.
Murder.
And I kind of do too.
All right. So how are you doing this? They're going to pass right by you because the trail passes within, 20, 30 feet of where that exit from the hillside was.
Mm-hmm.
Do we want to do this,
Run
or
back
we want
on
to
the
act
side.
like we're travelers and just go along with them and see if they'll open up a conversation?
I don't mind. I don't mind walking with them a bit to see if there's some other plan that's better than just whacking them on the head, because we can always fall back to whacking them on the head.
We do have coins.
You know what? I look like crap right now with my clothing. We could say that we got waylaid on the way here, and ask them if that's if they have any goods that we can barter to get some clothing. We could do the we want to buy things thing. Travel with them, like you said, Thybor.
Well, they're coming up pretty quickly. So what are you deciding to do? Right now, you guys aren't kind of hiding. You're just milling out in front of this hillside.
I'll
I like
stay
your
off to the side. I'll stay off to the side with Rusty, separate from these guys.
Okay.
A little bit out of sight, not obvious. And,
I say to Thybor, I'm like, you know what? Talina's off to the side. Why don't you and I see if we can talk to them and try your plan and see if we can avoid, having to immediately attack them. Maybe there's something we can do here.
Is there a pathway other than through the way we came out?
No,
Or are they
yeah.
looking to go into this?
So no, this was a hidden small entrance,
Okay.
but it's really close to the only road that you see out of this crater, which again, it just kind of comes up the inside of the crater.
Alright, so is there a spot like a little down the path I can hide in case negotiations go down and they try and book it past
Well,
them?
down the path would mean you'd have to get by them. Like I
Mm.
just said, you ran fast enough to get ahead of them to begin with, but at this point, you're going to have to pass them to get behind them. It's
You're
possible.
invisible, right?
No, not behind. I mean like further
Yes,
along the
up.
way they were
Sure,
going.
not a problem. You can go further up easily enough.
Yeah, is there
Um,
like a spot I can hide behind rocks?
Yeah, sure.
You're already invisible, though, right?
No, I gave Richard the sword back.
Okay.
So.
Okay. So you have hot-footed up a bit, maybe just around the next turn. Find some rocks to hide behind. Grownwolf and Thybor, you're gonna go forward, and Talina, you're gonna be hiding just off the trail.
Right, and I'm gonna give Grown Wolf and Thybor, give me the signal. We'll work out a signal, and if I see him twirl his fingers and hands in the air or whatever, entangle.
Okay. Do you have any skill at camouflage or hiding or outdoorsmanship or survival?
Yeah,
As a non-weapon,
I do.
you have survival.
As a druid and as a skill, I have survival in the
Yep,
forest.
there you go.
and
Okay,
mountain area.
perfect. Yeah, you're kind of at a disadvantage because you're wearing very brightly colored clothing, but it kind of works to your advantage a bit if you find some plant life that you kind of blend in with. So you hunker down and wait. Grown Wolf and Thybor. So how are you going to approach them? It's rounding. This edge is coming up. They're going to pass you in just a moment. Do you want to be just standing in the middle of the road, or do you want to kind of break out of this little bit of foliage that's off to the side of the road at them?
I think it's probably like best to be within sight, but not like we're blocking the path.
Right.
Like as they're coming up, so we can kind of hail them to be.
Because
less
you want to
intimidating
hail
looking.
them. Okay. All right.
Yeah,
Sounds good.
I like that.
So in which case what will happen is they see you ahead, and you see the sons. They don't slow down, but you see each of them kind of cock back crossbows, put bolts in them. So how are you reacting? So you're ahead enough that you're not blocking their wagon. They see you, but they haven't hailed you.
I produce one of the wooden tokens that we have, and I say, fell upon some hard times, got waylaid, just looking to talk.
Okay.
Yeah, I got both my hands up in the air, like, hey, they're not on a weapon or anything.
Okay. So you show a token, so I won't make you roll a charisma roll. So you see that the crossbows remain, cocked with the bolt in them, but they're not pointing them at you, just kind of off to the side. They continue forward, so they're going to reach you in a few moments. The father, eventually, when you become, about 20 or 30 feet away, he stops the horses. He's like, looks like you ran into a bit of problems.
Yeah, so guess what? The authorities are on the loose out here looking for what we do for a living, and we had to make a quick exit. Isn't that right? And I turned to Thybor.
And just nod.
Yeah, Thybor's got the look of a lot of the slavers that are working for him. He's like, well, they won't find anything of inconvenience on our wagon, so we should be fine. Thank you for the heads up.
Well, real quickly though, has word reached the city? Does it seem like anybody is up in arms over some tumult on the outside here?
Yes. I've been here for the last few days. Sometime late yesterday, it's a fairly large group came into the city. Some things going on with the hires up. He kind of looks at the token that you've got.
Yeah.
Put out. And he's like, Lord Saren's group. That's interesting. He mulls it over for a minute. Best you get to the city as soon as possible, then. If you're caught out here, I believe Lord Saren's group, there's a large number of you that have wanted posters out, bounties on you. Best you get into the city before they start coming down. We'll distract anyone that we find.
So can you
chuckle at that?
Yeah.
So could you mind if we follow you with escort? We have a couple of friends. They're hiding because we were worried that you may be trouble.
Well, we're heading into the forces you're talking about. It would be best if you head in the opposite direction.
Okay, I was thinking they were heading the same way. So.
No, they're leaving. Yeah. They're leaving the city, not going into the city.
Trying to think if there's anything relevant that we would ask aside from just like, has news reached the city yet? And it seems like it has.
Yep. Why don't both of you guys roll me a d6 as well?
Okay. I'm rolling ones all day on
That's
these.
good.
Apparently.
So Grown Wolf, you get like it's a perfect angle to see behind the driver into the back of the covered wagon. There aren't slaves back there, but there are a lot of very large crates that are kind of strapped down inside, secured.
Are we talking like man-sized crates?
They're huge crates.
Okay.
Yeah. But I mean, you're not seeing things like air holes or anything like that.
Okay. Yeah, so I was wondering, like, does it look like the way somebody would transport livestock, kind of a way?
No, yeah. not at all.
Okay.
Not at all.
Okay. Huh. Well, you know,
have any extra food or water?
Yeah. So he reaches behind him. He pulls out a couple of packs from the back of his wagon and just tosses them down to you. That should do you. We won't have any more use for them.
Thank you so much. You know what? With what's happening on the outside, are there any new precautions in the city to keep these gadflies from getting in? Like, did they bump up security or anything? You think they should, right? It's scary out there.
I don't think anyone's going to find anything that the lords don't want to be found. I'm sure they'll be all right.
Yeah, okay. I worry too much. I look at my butt like always worrying this one.
Yeah.
I do. I mean, look at me. I had my literal shirt taken off my back not long ago. I'm a little scared at the moment. I guess I'm a little spooked.
Well, your lord's done good business here. I'm sure that token will get you some stay in the inns on credit.
Oh, good. Good. I look to Thybor and I'm like, good to hear. You know, it's good to work for good people.
He kind of like, yeah, good people. Right. Well, may fortune be better on you in the future.
I look to Thybor real quick and I'm like, I give him the do we want to brain them look.
In the... Well, shit, we don't know anything about the way out of here. And there's just 3 of them?
Yeah. 3 sons and then the older man that's in the wagon.
That's right.
Any of you good with first aid? One of my other members is injured a bit.
Well, he kind of looks. You got anything to barter? We might have a bit of magic that could help out.
You know, if you wait a few hours, I might have some gemstones.
Actually, those probably passed this morning.
Did they? Okay, then I'm like, how about some gemstones? So clean, so fresh.
Do you offer him the stones?
I'm trying to remember. Were we gonna like? Should I? So this is kind of tricky, and the moment may have passed, like the stones. But after I slept that night on the knolls, would they have been in the pile of things I tried to detect magic on, or no?
You already know that at least one of the gems was magical.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, you could have picked that one out if you want.
Okay, so the rest of the non-magical ones, then I hold up and I'm like, we have some gems that they didn't get from us during the chase here.
Yeah, he kind of looks at them for a bit, kind of looks at their quality in the sunlight. Sure, he's like, yeah, these will do. He trades you out. He gives you 4 vials.
Okay, nice. Well, thank you again so much. You know, they say there's There's no good that comes from, dealing with our like, but I find we're very amenable when it comes to profit.
So, how's your master's wife doing?
Uh, hang on. Are any of y'all good with smithing or anything to look at my weapon?
Afraid not. We don't work with our hands very much.
No. Well, you see, it's got this crack right here, and I grab my two-hander and I attack.
Sure.
Nice.
Yeah, they're not surprised, though.
Yeah.
As you might have figured out, they were testing you. All right, so Thyber, you're the one that forced it, so roll a d6 for your side. Friendin, are you casting?
Yeah,
Talina, are
casting.
you casting, since you can see what's going on?
Casting, yeah.
Casting, okay, two of
That's
you are
what
casting.
I figured. You're starting to get more specifics.
Yeah.
It's like
Yes. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Am I rolling?
Yeah,
You
go
say
ahead,
D6.
Thyber. D6.
Boo.
All right, they go first.
Okay.
Yeah, the three sons had loaded crossbows, so it's going to be 2 into the big guy and 1 into Grown Wolf.
Oof. Okay.
So here's the one on you, Friendin. So a d20. Oh, wow.
Oof. Okay.
Okay, roll save versus poison.
Okay. All right.
Take 4 points of damage.
No.
Ooh, that's a fail. Do you want to use a reroll, or are you going to stay with it?
I think I am gonna use a reroll because I'm a little light on HP. Okay.
That
Yay!
succeeds. All right. You feel yourself kind of stiffen up for a moment, and then it kind of quickly passes. Thyber, they unleash 2 on you before you are able to come in on
AC
them.
3.
And one of them's going to hit you. Same thing, roll save versus poison. Only a point of damage, glancing blow. Not a problem.
Oh, definitely.
Not a problem for you at all. And the old man is casting, but it won't.
Shit.
It will go off on segment 7, so you guys will get to act before his spell goes off. So the two of you that were casting, Grown Wolf, you were damaged, so your spell fails.
Okay.
Yep. So Talina, what are you doing? And unfortunately, yeah, it does take your action too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Talina.
Yeah, I'm going. Yeah, I'm going warp wood on the rear right, on the rear right wheel.
Sure. Yeah, that's fine. You cast it. I don't think there's any.
There's
kind of
not really
save.
much
Yeah.
I need to do. I mean,
Yeah.
it just goes off. There's
Sure.
no
Yeah, it'll make
save,
it so
like-
that the wagon's not able to go. It's so heavily weighed down that anything like that's going to have an issue. Patty, from up ahead, you hear the sounds of, you're about to hear the sounds of clashing steel as Thyber cleaves into one of the sons I'm taking in, unless you leap aboard and go right for the father. You do see him casting, like you know what casting looks like.
Yeah, then I would definitely be going for him.
Okay. Go ahead and make any attack roll.
Okay, I thought you wanted Patty to go first.
Oh no, I'm just going to say, Patty, you'll hear this as soon as Thyber.
Okay. So first attack,
Oh wow. Okay.
Ooh.
17 will hit.
Okay, so that just outright kills the old man. So
Perfect.
you leap aboard, you
Okay.
kill him. If you want to take a second blow at one of his sons from up here on top of the wagon, you can do that.
Of course.
They're close enough that you can kind of reach out
Ooh.
with it. Oh, jeez.
Jeepers.
Right. You kill his son, probably his eldest son. Patty, you hear the sounds of combat down the road.
All right.
And I'm yelling to drop your weapon to the other one.
So the spear has a throwing range, it says, of 1, 2, 3.
Mm-hmm.
Short, medium, long.
Yeah.
What's that mean?
That
10, 20, 30.
yeah,
basically.
10, 20, 30. So you're outside of 30 feet,
All
but
right.
you can move and throw it.
Okay. How far away are they?
Let's see. 2, 10, 40 feet. You're 40 feet up
okay,
the road.
yeah. I'm gonna move in to spear throwing range, and I'm
Chuck it.
just, yeah, you're just gonna hear, and I yeet, and
jeez. All right, you hit him. That doesn't kill him outright, but one of the remaining two sons springs a spear through his back. Yeah!
Mm,
All right, so I think that's everybody's action. So next round, is anyone casting? And let's have Talina
Casting.
roll D6 for your side.
Who's rolling?
Talina.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I didn't hear you.
Okay. So you guys go first.
Mm-hmm.
So you were casting. What are you casting?
I'm casting Sanctuary.
Okay, how many segments?
Let me double check. God, I forgot what. I think that's the second level. No, it isn't. What? Oh, I'm sorry. You know what? I'm gonna cast Mirror Image. Screw it. I can't find it fast enough.
Sure.
Mirror Image, 2 segments.
Okay, so this will actually go off right before their turn.
Okay.
Okay, Talina, Thyber, Patty, what are you guys doing?
Yeah, Talina's gonna throw a spear.
Sure. Go ahead.
Now I'm coming right from the back there, so
Mm-hmm. Well, you don't get surprised though, because I mean they know that they're in a combat situation. If you want to try them, and well,
gotcha.
I tell you what, roll me a D percentage. Tell me high or low.
Hi.
Okay. No. Okay. So you throw your spear. He sees movement out of the corner of his eye, and he turns just a little bit there, and so that misses. Thyber.
I'm going to use the flat of my blade and try to knock his ass out.
Okay, that's fine. Make me a 2-hit roll. Oh, jeez.
Oof.
Okay, so you're trying not to kill him, so that's fine. You basically render him unconscious. He goes down, so there's just one son left. Patty.
Spear! Hiya!
I've got another attack. I'll
Okay.
hit him with the
Oh,
flat
that's
too
right.
if he's close enough.
Sure, go ahead. Okay, that'll miss. And then he erupts with a spear.
It hits AC 2.
Yeah. He hits an AC 2.
Yep.
Okay, that's not enough to render him unconscious, but as the spear goes through him, that's enough to kill him.
So you both basically the
Yeah.
two of them like got him coming and going basically.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Thyber shows him the backhand of,
Mhm.
and Patty says, "Nope."
Well, as the one gets knocked out and the other becomes a fricassee, I didn't cast at all. Once I got hit, and then the other time you killed. Fine, and I just kind of sulk and walk away.
All
Well, it's
6 of
kinda
you
nice
sulk.
with
All
those-
6 of you sulk and walk away.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. So 2
Yeah.
sons are dead. Looks like the middle son, just judging by age, is the one that you knocked unconscious, and the father is dead. The horses are a bit agitated, but they look like they're well trained.
I'm gonna gather one of my 2 spears.
Okay.
I'll go calm the horses.
So I used a
Search their
50% roll.
bodies.
You threw 2 spears. One of them is recoverable. The other one is not.
I do my best to try to get any evidence of what just happened off the side of the road, like
Yeah,
quickly.
just drag the bodies off.
You just
Yeah.
drag the bodies
Yeah.
to the side of the road.
Yeah.
Okay.
But search
Yeah.
them too, see if they've got anything on.
Yeah,
Kick
they're both
dirt over
well
any
dressed,
obvious blood.
in brightly colored robes, but beneath the robes, each of them has a chain hauberk. That's why they were more difficult to hit. So they're wearing chain beneath. Each of the brothers had crossbows. The father had no armor, but you think he might have been a spellcaster of some sort. He's got lots of pouches around his belt. Drone Wolf, he's actually sitting on a small box that ends up being his spell tome.
Ooh. I like this, I say, as I start to flip through it briefly.
Books!
Yeah. Oh, I like those things.
Right. The wagon, however, has been rendered inoperable. As
Right.
The back axle and wheel has been warped.
No,
Search those boxes.
just the wheel. I didn't want to
Just the
do the
wheel,
axle
okay.
because it was just a matter of replacing the wheel.
Okay.
Okay. Well, so at that point we've gone through where the dude was sitting.
Oh,
We've
there's
gone
120 gold worth of
Okay.
wealth amongst them.
Okay.
Check the crates they had.
That's what I was going to ask. If the
Crates are interesting. They've got a layer of straw, and there are on top of them just like a packets of dried fish, like spiced and prepared dried fish, but with just a little bit of digging. There are oiled cloth, and you unravel them, and they're like suits of chain, swords, crossbows with bolts. This is an armory that they were taking with them. You just open the one crate, and there's 6 more of them back here, and they're just stuffed full with chain shirts, weapons.
What's the quality?
Yeah, I mean, it's what you would arm your soldiery with. They're not particularly, they're not great, but they're not horrible either.
Right.
Common soldier's gear, but a lot of it.
Adequate armor, and yeah.
Standard, yeah, okay.
So
It's well cared
Table
for,
top.
but it's also all of it's obviously been used. It's been mended and repaired and cared for, but none of it is, anything more than just work a day.
Table talk, since Patty wouldn't be able to figure this out, but I think we should take what we want from it and feed the rest to the rust monster, because it seems like they were sending supplies to people, and I think this should just all disappear.
Yeah. Judging
Yeah,
by
we're
the
not gonna
one
go take
crate,
care of
there's
it.
enough armor and arms here to like arm a small battalion, maybe 50 up to 50 people.
Well, it does sound like the slavers were spooked, because it looks like they're looking to bear arms here. And yes, I think that feeding this stuff is a good idea, because like Thiber was saying, we can't do much with all this. It's too much for us.
Look for intel too. Bills of sale, bills of lading, maps.
Yeah, is there anything kind of like the documentation that we found in the slaver lair in that?
The
in
only
that
thing
one room?
passing for documents that you find are a whole bunch more of these wooden coins.
Okay, I take a
Wooden
few of
tokens.
each. They've been handy to use as like identification chips. I hand one to everybody since we have a plethora of them now. I have one of each that I've been keeping. I make sure
Now, do
everybody's
they
got
have a
them.
different marking? Because he
Ah,
mentioned by
yeah.
seeing it named Our Lord.
Now
Yeah.
that you're checking out the marking on it, you go back, Grown Wolf, through the ones that you found.
Yeah.
You actually do know this mark. This is the one that's the Master of Coin in the Free City of Greyhawk. It's the same mark that you've connected to this guy.
So this one is a pretty big deal, everyone. Looks like, and then I explained what you just said about the Master of Coin and Greyhawk.
Smart guy, write this down.
That's the one thing that Grown Wolf is good for, is apparently a limitless ability to carry books in jars.
Hey, you got a floating disc, man.
That's true. So yeah,
There's more clothing now. I mean, there's big spear holes in them, but
Yeah, chain armor. Anything better than chain?
no,
Is
it's
there,
all chain. There's
Okay.
there's no
Standard
field
chain.
plate. It's just all standard chain.
I'm gonna take whichever top seems the least destroyed,
Sure.
and like throw that on, and maybe if there's a big blood spear hole, place my bag over it a little, kind of.
Well, you
do
do
what I
have one of the middle son has been rendered unconscious. I mean,
Oh,
his
right.
clothing's fine if you want to take
They
his.
didn't have any personal belongings.
Again, they had some smattering of coin on them, but other than that, the only other thing they had were these tokens. Like they have nothing identifiable on them. So like none of their clothing has a crest. None of the
Yeah.
boxes have a crest. The only thing identifiable are the wooden tokens that they're carrying.
I mean, it's
What
smart.
about food?
What's that?
I was thinking, what about food? It's like I'm trying to gauge how long of a journey.
So
They
they
had all
threw
that
you.
dried fish.
They threw you 2 packs that look like, and you're looking back there. There's 6 more of the same packs that they throw you. If you open it up, there's enough provisions in there that each pack is like a week's worth of like trail rations, enough skins, and there's no water in them, but they could carry up to like 6 skins of water. So each pack is roughly one person a week if you add 8 sparingly.
Okay.
Just
So they
trying to
had
gauge,
8.
because
They had 8
I'm
of these
very
packs.
familiar. Being a mule skinner, I'm very
Yeah.
familiar with caravans and
Yeah.
these,
8 packs would get 4 people, roughly 2 weeks of travel overland, assuming that they're going through grassland and could feed their horses that way.
Okay. I'm gonna say, don't mind if I do, to the knocked out guy. Strip him down and take his clothes,
Yep.
for one. And then I'm gonna sample some of that dried fish while we're thinking about interrogating this guy and sitting at the side of the road. Because even though it's essentially the coffee beans that cover the Coke shipment, I'm still interested.
Yeah.
I'm still interested.
Salt
Well,
fish.
you said
I mean,
it was
it's fun.
fine.
Yeah, salted fish.
Yeah.
Spiced and
Yeah.
dried.
I'm like, oh, it's perfectly fine. What a bummer.
I'm gonna look at Thiber and be like, you gonna ask him questions?
Figure we can try to figure something out. At least who this was going to. Any details about the city.
I have idea. You be good guy, I be bad guy. And I just walk away and I start gathering rocks and like putting them in a row. And I get my hammer out and I kind of like motion, like pretending to like strike the rock and then like move to the next one and pretend to hit that one to like send the message of like, I'm gonna beat the snot out of these rocks to intimidate the dude.
You're
I
playing,
look at all this happening and I'm so entertained. Grownwolf is just sitting there like, I cannot wait to see this.
You're playing bad barbarian, worse barbarian.
Yeah.
There's no good barbarian. It's just bad and worse.
Actually, probably should have Grown Wolf play the good guy. He's a little less intimidating than me.
Okay. We be bad guy. He be
That
good
works.
guy.
I like what you're thinking. I'm just saying I'm really bad at being good, but let's give it a shot. Let's
Right,
give
so
it the old try.
You've pulled the bodies off to the side of the road. The wagon's not moving until you replace the wheel, though.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you could push it off to the side of the road, though. I mean, that's fine. You can do that.
Yeah, and we have a kind of an inbuilt excuse if anybody asks why we're stuck. We just say like our wheel broke. Essentially,
Got a
is
plot.
yeah.
All right, good enough.
And we can let Rusty have its way
Yeah.
with the.
Now, Rusty is recently just pigged out. So it's like, oh, food. Oh, isn't that interesting? And just kind of
Yeah.
slowly, like, ah.
Rusty dies of bloat like a fish that's eaten too much, just sacrificed to the cause here. Okay, so
Alright,
yeah,
so
looks like
you,
we're gonna interrogate.
tie him up, slap him awake. So he comes to and he's looking around. He sees you guys over him and he just stops moving. You can see he's just setting his mouth, so like, not saying a thing. Sort of look about him.
So, you kind of can tell, based on the fact that your entire family is dead, that we're dangerous. I'm trying to keep these two from smashing you to bits as well, and the only way to do that is for you to cooperate and answer some
I
questions.
smash the first rock before he ends the sentence. Just
All right.
and just stare at the guy. My mouth
This
is
kid
just
completely
foaming.
failed his morale check. He's like, I'll talk. I'll tell you all kinds of things. I mean, I think I was about 4 when I first knew that my dad was doing.
So,
I hate this game.
so first off, these, and I hold up the symbol of the Master of Coin at Greyhawk. I'm like, do you have any actionable idea as to how we could reliably prove that this gentleman in Greyhawk is a part of all this?
Well, no. I mean, that's the whole point of the tokens. So there's no names on anything. No.
Yeah, I've noticed the lack of crests, and if you'd like to not crest over the mountain, you'd kind of catch that I'm putting down beyond the obvious. Is there anything we can do to link these things together?
Smash
He looks.
another rock.
He looks over at the
Nice.
dead
Rock
body
number
of his
2.
father and said, "Well, my father was the only one who knew who the people behind these coins were."
I
he-
smash
he-
his father's face apart with a maul. just stare at him. Foaming.
Are you sure he was the only one?
I mean, he looks over his brother's also dead. He's like,
Smash!
"Oh, ah, ah." Thank
Can I
you.
roll
He's
intimidation
like,
with
"Thank you.
strength?
They were awful."
This is some midsummer cliff scene bullshit here. It's rough.
No, he's already broken. Like he's so failed his
yeah,
morale check.
yeah.
Anything more is just gravy. It's like, no, I don't know anything. Maybe my oldest brother knew. I don't know. He kept a book. He sat on it all the
Oh.
time in that box.
Oh, and you mean this book of spells?
Yep.
It's spells. I say.
Yeah.
So,
well, I mean, yeah, but he wrote in it often too.
Okay. So tell me this: the book is a good lead. I appreciate that. You won't be a rock under that hammer yet. How about this? When going into this city, aside from presenting the token, is there anything obvious that you can think of that would give us away as we enter? If we're presenting these tokens, is there anything beyond just having these that they might check for?
Oh no.
us?
If you have a token, they'll let you in. That's the whole deal. That's the whole deal. The only other
Okay.
people they let in there are the peasants that sell them fish. So that's it. That's
Okay. And again, because of that aforementioned lack of a trail, and I point to the blood trail that's now coming out of his dad's smashed head. I'm like, because of the lack of a trail, these tokens have to be the only thing that allows you entrance then.
yes,
Scoop
right,
up
right.
some of the brain viscera and blood and just war paint my face while staring at him.
That's just a bit excessive now. Come on.
I'm like, I can't control him. That's what I told you. That's why I'm trying to be, the good magic user here.
My brother Jeremy had like a bloodborne disease, so you probably just got an STD, man. Come on, come on.
Now all of a sudden I'm interested, and I'm like, which one's Jeremy?
I go over to Friendon and I whisper in his ear about how because I didn't mention it before, that like the townspeople and peasants outside have usually nothing to do with the slaves and all that stuff, just the trading
Okay.
for survival.
Well, I huddle with everybody, and I'm like, okay, so we know we're pretty safe to get in there if we have these tokens now. Think of more questions. I've got one more for him, and I turn around and I say, would it be weird for us, you think, to present the tokens you just presented leaving back in, or are they do y'all come and go enough that they're not going to pay mine? What do you think?
It just depends on the guard that you get. Most of them don't even pay any attention. If you got a wooden token, they just let you in. But some of the guards know who the tokens belong to, and some of them are better informed than others. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you.
I mean, you've been very helpful so far. I'm not gonna lie. Like, kind of feeling bad for killing your whole family at this point. Not gonna fool you, actually.
They were horrible people. It's fine. It's fine. I wanted to be a minstrel, but no. My father said we've been slavers. My granddad was slavers. His granddad was slavers. So I'm gonna be a slaver. I didn't want to be a slaver.
Well, tell you what. If we don't kill you, I mean, so far we're not going to. You've been helpful. But if we don't kill you, I'll let you keep the gemstones. Is everybody okay with that? Everybody okay with him keeping the gemstones?
I get real close to the dude and I lean into his face real close, like an inch away, and I go, sing.
No, no.
You are my sunshine.
You know what? On second thought, you're not getting the gemstones. That was abysmal. Okay.
I hold my maul and I look at Thybor, like, can I do it?
Not yet.
Look. I mean, I can tell you more. I mean, look. The city. There's not as many people in there as you might think. I mean, the city itself. It's old. It's really old. But the trade's only been going on there for the last few years or so. It's like in any normal city, right? I mean, you've got inns in there. There's at least 2 or 3. We always go to the Clever Cudgel. It's got the best barmaids, really. But I mean, it's a normal city, right? I mean, it just. The lords just control it all. Everybody kind of knows what goes on in there.
Okay. So you're going on a bit, and I appreciate it because you're frankly answering questions I wouldn't have thought to ask. I'm a little addled after seeing your father's head just explode. Okay, so what I need to ask now is, you say there's not as many people as we'd think in there. Well, what are we talking? Like, are we talking like 5 or 500? Like, what are we talking?
Well, I mean, there's the slave lords themselves. I mean, there's like 4, maybe 5 of them, and they've got, I mean, maybe 20, 30 men. All told, the whole population's maybe 100, 120 people. Most of them are just support. They're like shop owners and craftsmen.
Okay, so what's the relationship like with the outside folks? Any animosity there, or they trade their fish and they live their simple lives, and that's
Yeah,
about it.
yeah. I mean, they were here already when the lords moved in, and they just kind of cut a
Hmm.
deal because we needed food, and transporting food back and forth from the outside was just too much commerce, too much motion
Okay.
going on. So they just cut a deal with these people. They were fine. We leave them alone. They
Okay.
never went into the city anyway. They said it was haunted, that it was a
This
place
is
of bad
wonderful.
fortune.
You know what? With those pipes, I'm gonna guess you could be a minstrel. You really get going. I'm impressed. So everybody, do we kill him now or what? What do we do here?
I
Well,
want
All this
meat.
armaments and stuff. Where were you taking them?
Yeah, where are you going?
Ooh.
How far away?
He looks over to his brothers and his father. I don't know. That was above my pay grade. I didn't even know what we were carrying. Just that it was heavy.
I look at the magic book and I point at it to Grown Wolf and I go, check it, book.
Okay, so at that moment, I'm like, okay, tuck him behind the wagon or something. We don't want somebody coming up while we take the time to do this. Let's kind of hunch behind this thing a bit and thumb through it.
I can't read, so I just stare at the guy. I just sit him down and I sit in front of him and I just stare at him.
So how big is this book? Is it reasonable that I could thumb through it quickly and find passages that weren't spells? Because I didn't think I'd have time.
Do you have the spell Read Magic memorized?
I do.
Ah,
No,
then-
not memorized. I have it, but not memorized. No.
Okay. Well, then you can't make heads or tails of it. That's the
Okay.
whole point of that spell, is to be able to read another spellcaster's book.
Okay. So I say to everybody, I'm like, typical spellcaster bullshit. Not gonna be able to read this until I can read magic on it, and I didn't think I'd be encountering this today. So joke's on me, everybody. Gonna have to wait. But we won't get anything out of the book yet.
Look, I knew where we were going. If that'll help.
It does. And do you know when you were supposed to go there?
Well,
Like-
I mean, it was going to be a long haul. I mean, we figured it was going to take a couple of weeks with
Mhm.
how heavy laden we are. But we were supposed to end up in the city of Divers a couple of weeks from now to meet the buyer.
And any details on where and who?
Well, we're supposed to stop at the Night's Inn.
Okay.
Who was your contact?
My father knew that. Maybe my older brother. I don't know.
I'm kind of feeling like we've exhausted his ability. Everyone. I don't know. I'm bored with him. If somebody wants to ask him something, go ahead. Otherwise, I mean, maybe I'll kill him. I don't get to kill things a lot.
I look
Is
at
there
him and I
any,
go, oh, go ahead.
Are there any secret entrances or secret tunnels or anything into or out of the city?
Not that I know of. But I mean, I don't know a lot about the city. This is only my second time there. I was a kid. I mean, was a child the first time I came here. It's just like any other city. I mean, maybe I don't know. The bunch of people that came in the night before, last night, they came in through the main gates. I mean, I don't know. They seem to be important people. They just came in out of the open, though, so I don't know that there's anything hidden. I know that the fishermen just fish this lake here, but I do know that you can. There is a way to get down out of this mountain canyon using the water. I've heard.
No. That is helpful.
How often is your father and you? How often have you been to this city? How well?
I've only been here twice, and I was a child the first time. My father's come several times with my brothers.
Is your family well known here?
Yes, yeah, of course, yes, of course. I mean, if you brought me in, I could probably open some doors for you.
I want pet minstrel. I look at him. I want you to sing.
He sings. He's got. Well, you're not sure if he's got a horrible singing voice or just because it keeps cracking as he's trying to keep the fear in.
We
You
work
know,
on it.
out of character, friend, and you might want a friend in there. Oh,
No,
you stepped away.
bathroom break.
Okay, because I was thinking he might know if his father is a mage. He might know if his father has what items his father has that are of use. If you guys want to ask him that, it's not really my thing, but
my dad just carries a spell book around. I mean, he says that when we do these transactions, we can't. We're not supposed to kind of advertise the family name, so we don't carry any papers with us or anything that would lead back to the family.
But what can he do to protect you if something goes wrong?
Well, he's got spells, and he's well known around here. Normally, we would have a guard, but with the things that happened last night, our guards were kind of requisitioned. They were pulled away from us, but normally we've got a good, 10, 20 men coming with us. Keep us safe. We
So
should probably have had those last night.
What do you know that he knows? What spells do you know that he's done?
I don't know. He's kept things pretty close to his vest. I mean, I've seen him do those magic, bolts thing before. I've seen him do that. I mean, he likes to blow things up. He's got lots of fire-based spells, and he's got a lot of spells that allow him to to spy on people. He sells a lot of information. Well, he did.
Oh. Do you know any of the individuals that he sold to? Or
Sure.
could be in the
Of
book.
course I do. I know everybody he's talked to. I'm useful.
Oh shit! Everyone, I think we're just gonna get bullshit from now on. He's just too eager.
Well, he's trying to survive. So, what's your family's name? And give us the names of everybody that you could possibly know and what their connection is.
Oh my
what
gosh.
their
He
business
just starts
is.
rattling off a string of names. Yeah, so his family name is Sinclair. Grown Wolf and Thiber. If you want to roll me an intelligence check, you
Okay.
might recognize the name living in the area.
Not me.
Middling success, like halfway there.
Right, yeah.
Well, less than.
The family is actually well known. They're not incredibly rich, but what they're known for is paper products. Their family
Oh.
makes basically parchment.
You know what? I have to say, Sinclair, that makes sense because we just beat your family to a pulp.
You're funny.
Oh, you know what? No one likes to be patronized, okay?
You should make paper for butts. I assume there will be shortage in future.
Jesus Christ. I give up. I feel so. One thing I will say is out of character. I feel bad that the heaviest interrogation we've had in a while is the night that Bert's sick, where we make him talk for hours. So we've got a list of contacts. I remind everybody too, a lot of it might be in this book that I can't currently read as well, so there may be some redundancy here. But it's good that we have another list.
Look, my
We
family is
know-
wealthy. I mean, they pay for my. They might pay for my. Who am I kidding?
You know what? How would you feel about just palling around with us? Doesn't seem like you like your family very much. What if you want to be like our bard or something? Like the minstrel thing's kind of neat.
Yes, friend.
And at that, I cast Charm Person, which I do have prepared.
Yes.
All right, he gets a save.
Yes.
That's a fail.
Yeah.
Yes,
And so I'm
friends.
like, so we had fun interrogating him, right? I could have done that all along, I know, but I really liked what Patty had going on. And now he's just kind of our pal. Hi, what was your name again?
Thunder.
I'm Jonathan.
Jonathan Sinclair. You know what, bud? I think we're going to be good friends.
Your friends are terrifying.
You know what? They are, and that's the best part about them. So let's not make them angry, okay?
I pick up
It's
the
nuts.
old man's body and
Oh,
I put my
really though? I mean,
hands
yeah, I was
in
just
the
saying
neck
it to
hole.
kind of to save my life and all. But
Right.
if we get back to civilization, really, my family does have a lot of connections. I could be useful.
Yeah, that's why I thought as soon as you said that, bud, that, maybe we should just pal around a bit. And so, yeah, he gets one saving throw a week, I think, at my
Yep.
current intelligence level and stuff. Yeah.
Perfect.
And so, yeah, so now he's just our roving information bullet sponge, essentially.
If he lives long enough, he will create butt paper.
Now I can cross-class
Right.
into Barbarian. He can train me at least one level.
Could be a barbarian.
No, exactly.
Barbarian. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, the charm person makes him more amenable to you. It does not extend to your party, so he's still terrified of everybody else. But
Yeah.
So do we want to table talk here? Do we want to forego this slave city for now and come back later and go to this shipment and get info there, and then because that's going to bring us back to like the mainland or whatever, right?
So my only concern is they're definitely ramping up for battle, right? Like they know bad things are coming. If we take the time to leave, they could even leave. There aren't that many of them. A few dozen per slave lord could like just leave this mountain, arm themselves on the way out, and just not be here when we get back, which could be a
It's
bummer.
fair. But they do have a good situation going here, so
Yeah.
and they don't
And-
necessarily have proof that we're like exposing them yet.
That's fair.
If we get rid
Yeah.
of these bodies, like really get rid of them so they're not found in a bush somewhere, we could just like take the cart and go like we're supposed to, and they'd be none the wiser. But I mean, if we want to go to this thing and take care of those people over there and then come back to this because we might weaken their forces more or something. I don't know.
I don't
We
think
could
it's a
just
bad idea.
Bum rush the castle.
Mm.
I'm good
I-
with either.
What do you think, Thybor?
Oh, while they may have low numbers, it's still more than we have.
Yeah.
So, if nothing else, we could come back. Possibly have a, if they have some of their Griffin Riders or something be a distraction, and we can get in and take care of the bosses.
Yeah,
You
keep
know,
in
I-
mind that you guys were part of an expedition to find out where the slavers went. So you're the only ones that know this place exists
Okay.
outside of the slavers themselves.
Yeah, so we can go do this delivery thing, deal with that, and then loop back and give
And
them all the juicy gossip.
and I have my new friend here who's willing to tell, probably whatever I would, let's say, persuade him to tell the authorities about this place that he knows. So we do have some proof outside of just ourselves. And you make some sense about the Griffin Riders and things. Talina, how are you feeling?
If your original mission was to be an intel gathering, you just struck gold.
Yeah,
You know,
you all
you
make
know
sense.
where they are. You have a way in. You know, but I don't know. Like Oak says, if we go in, yeah, but there's only us, and we're white. Nobody knows.
Yeah,
Hmm.
I think we take that risk then. See, I was in another dimensional plane for a bit when this first was going down, so I didn't realize it was just an info gathering. Y'all are making a lot of sense.
All right, so we go
Put
back.
this,
Fix this
put
wagon
the
wheel.
spare on and
Fix
move.
fix the wagon wheel.
Yeah, so
maybe
if that's the
dump the
plan,
crates.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you fix the wagon wheel, you hide the bodies. You might just throw them inside that entrance that you came out of, since it was well hidden from the side.
That, or we could put them in the crates and take them to a better place to dispose of.
Yeah, your
That
rust
works. There we go.
monsters like belly up in the back, like twice its normal size, going.
Just
Hey.
nibbling on a dagger. You know?
I assume the more we
Lazily.
feed it, the more tame it gets, because we're just steadily supplying it with food. So
There's always
And the
room
whole
for a dagger.
time-
It's wafer thin.
I'm going to constantly be training it. I'm going to be constantly, familiarizing it with the guys and trying to say, hey, fetch, and, and go get, touch it,
Throwing femur bones from that poor family that we just killed, like.
Yeah, see, that's the thing. Keeping it fed in metals is going to be expensive, but you could definitely trade it. They just have high animal intelligence. It's trainable like a dog.
And the thing is, too, it says it's not as much the quality of the metal
Yep.
as the volume of
The
metal.
volume of
even
the metal.
scrap metal, even whatever it is, and
Yeah.
for now,
And that was a lot. That was a bunch of crates. So
We can just get scrap from blacksmiths. Be like, yo, we'll take scrap off your hands.
Wonder what rust
Had-
monster poop is like.
oh.
Just
See,
rust
that's what
dust.
we need an alchemist, and
Yeah.
we could look rust dust. I'm telling you,
Yeah.
rust dust.
It's like in the Brave
Powdered
Little Toaster
Rust.
Hmm.
when they pound the cars and they're like a little brick afterwards. Just little bricks.
So,
Well, you know what I was thinking, Brendan? Do you have enlarge, right? You have
I do.
enlarge. Do you
Yeah.
can you reduce as well?
Yeah, it's reversible. I did that to a door in the last dungeon. Yep.
So imagine we could, if we need to, we can redo him to what? Well, he's what
Oh.
size of a mastiff now?
Mhm.
Yeah.
And then you would probably reduce him 10% per level.
Yes, I believe
Size
it's
of
about that.
Yeah, you get him down to the size of a rat. Small
Yeah.
mouse. Yeah.
Yeah, either that or we
And
find
he's
a
very
portable. piece of chunk of shitty metal and enlarge it too and feed him that. Like one way or the other, we'll get it done. I do like the idea of a pocket-sized rust monster, though. That's great. It's wonderful, like a little ferrety rust monster.
Enlarged metal is the
Never
worst
been
food, though, because you're just hungry again an hour later.
That's right.
It's loaded with metal sodium glutamate.
It's the Taco Bell of
Exactly. All right, so the
Picturing
plan
us
then
coming
is
against like a stone. Sorry, I was just saying, shrink in that thing. Picturing
Yeah.
it like a solid stone door, but it's got like a little keyhole, and we just
Yeah.
shrink it small to stick in there. The mechanism.
That's perfect.
One tentacle,
Yeah.
tentacle. That's all it takes.
okay. So the plan then is that you're going to fix up the wagon and you're going to make the delivery,
Yeah.
right? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Good enough. So we're at time. So we will pick up the next time. Then we're just gonna hand wave the 2 weeks or so it takes to get this cart across land. You're probably gonna run through the people that you need to tell about the city as you go, because back at the top of the mountain they're scouring trying to find what passage or ways that all these slavers used to get off the mountain without being seen. So you're likely to run into a patrol. That you can pass that information along. So we will just pick up the next game in Divers, which also means that you guys are going to be in a safe, large city. Well, somewhat safe. So go ahead, and if you've got the experience to level, go ahead and level your character because you will be there long enough for you to get some training in.
I'll
And
need an
experience.
EXP
Here, hold on.
update.
I'll go ahead and tell you. Let me get my running total here. Give me just a second. The tamed rust monster counts.
Because we kind of have a female. We have, Brendan and Talina could be the brains, and the others could be the muscle of a little merchant group.
Yeah.
Hey, I could be wife. Talina could be the wife of you, and they know that he's a mage and you're a mage.
Yeah.
And then we've got the two big brutes with us.
And we've got the
Nobody's gonna
accompanying
question
tokens.
that they're the
Yeah.
perfect bodyguards.
Yeah.
We're a happy couple.
The one thing I'd like to ask too, if I'd have a chance to interpret that book during this journey as well.
Yep. So let's go ahead and just do some bookkeeping. It's going to be 1,025 experience apiece since the last time I gave out experience.
Okay.
And if that's enough to level anybody, or if you had leftover experience from last time, just go ahead and level it up before next game.
Okay.
If you cast Read Magic on it, there are going to be some spells in the spell book that if you don't have, you can put in your spell book for learning later.
Okay.
And what I'm going to do is there are a couple of spells that are definitely in there. He's got Magic Missile, he's got Fireball, and he's got, give me a second.
Mm-hmm.
Come on.
And Greyhawk has great spells.
Yeah.
If you ever looked at the Greyhawk book, beautiful spells.
I just ordered a POD of the Greyhawk setting source book though, because I've been eyeing a copy on eBay for a while, and I was like, you know what, it's just too much. I'll just get the reprint.
The which one? The World of Hardbound World of Greyhawk?
I don't know if it's a hardbound or not because it's a reprint of the PDF, so I don't know what the original was.
Yeah,
but
if it's
the World
first
of
edition,
Greyhawk.
then the first edition D&D only had one Greyhawk book. It was a hardbound Yeah.
Yeah, it's got like the red and yellow cover.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the one.
All right. So the spells other than Magic Missile, Fireball, he also had Feeble Mind, Cloud Kill,
Okay.
Ice Storm,
Hmm.
and then you can on page 41, or just you can do whatever page that you have. You're using Osric. Uh, 5 other first, second, and third level spells. Just randomize it to see what else is in there.
Okay.
And if you don't have those, you can write them to your book. But
Okay.
of course, if you can't hold them, then you can only hold so many based on your intelligence. But you can have them in
Right.
your book. The other thing you'll find out is that he did actually keep meticulous records in his spell book, which you are able to decipher with the read magic spell. You've got a list of people.
Ooh.
You got a list, which you got a list prior that you can kind of put together now to get a better picture of what's going on. And so, yeah, there are several people high up in Free City of Greyhawk that are helping the slavers and taking a healthy cut of what's going on. And it's not just slaving, though. It looks like slaving is kind of a front just to be able to create revenue. It looks like there's a civil war in the outing. Like a lot of the money is being used to buy arms, armament, magic items, that sort of thing.
That explains the crates. And I say to everybody, like, the one last bit of role playing for me is to say, like, maybe we don't tell our, like, as we're on the way to meet the people that we tell, like, maybe we don't tell the authorities everything we know yet.
Yeah, like where these weapons are headed, in which direction.
Yep. Yeah. Which you don't know yet yourself until you meet with the buyers, which is just going to be in the city of Diverse. But other than that, the people with the Griffin Riders is it's Selene. It's an elven city. So when you say the authorities, like there's not an overriding authority in the area. There's free cities that some of them will work together. Some of them are distinctly not working together.
I had forgotten that the people that we were going on this information for weren't the people in Greyhawk proper.
Yeah.
That it was the Elven settlement. That's
the
right.
people in Greyhawk had their own problems. They were so the ship that you guys interacted with that had so many problems. They were trying to get war machines to Greyhawk, as apparently it's known that there is some kind of war brewing or some kind of very large military movement going on. So that's the problem that Greyhawk is undergoing. Selene just doesn't like the fact that the slave trade is happening in their backyard, and so they're trying to squash that. You don't know if they're a part of whatever's going on with the war effort or not.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so there's a lot of stuff going on in the area.
There's a lot of coin to be made with that intelligence we have right now.
Yeah, yes, there is.
Yeah.
Yep. All right, guys, we will go ahead and end it. Oh, sorry, Oak, did you have something?
I would say, do we still have, because those one guys we rescued gave us that device. Was it apparatus Walsh or something?
Yep.
Is that still on our boat?
Yeah, it's still on the boat. Back in Greyhawk.
It's good to know.
Yeah.
But you guys have an apparatus of Qualish?
Yeah.
Cool.
All right, so let's just go ahead and do sign outs. Oak, what do you got going on?
Hey, other than Tuesdays here, you can catch me Friday and Saturday nights, Twitch and YouTube, playing some 5e, and Saturday night, starting at midnight, some Grimdark Homebrew.
Nice.
What I got going.
Friendin.
Hi, I'm Friendin. I just stream art to my Twitch, so if you want to see some tabletop art this week, I'm working on some zine stuff. That'll be fun. Thanks for having me, Bert. Had a blast.
Cool. And Jeff.
Right here doing this. Otherwise, I've got Dicey Tales coming out closer and closer and closer to the revamp that we're going to be doing, second edition of it. And once I know more, we'll know more, and I'll let you know more.
Yeah, good stuff. And Dion.
Hello, I'm Dion, also known as Substances Used on Twitch. I've recently started playing through the Arc the Lad series, starting with the first one in the collection, and I'm probably going to make that my new thing. I'm going to play through all of them. That's going to be fun. Catch me on my channel doing that when I'm streaming. which is random. So good luck with the schedule. Otherwise, you can find me doing D&D with all my cool friends like Bert here on Tuesdays and Fridays, soon to be maybe Sundays. And you can find me on Featherfall sometimes. I can't even tell anymore. And coming up in September, probably like the 11th or so, or I think that weekend, we are starting on Fulsham Arts channel The Happiest Apocalypse on Earth, a eldritch horror based powered by the apocalypse system in Disney World. So I'm going to be playing that with my best friend Age. We're playing ourselves, so expect to see some smokers trying to get into trouble.
Nice. I remember backing that game a long time ago, and I haven't cracked the covers of it yet.
So
I'll have to
good.
check it out.
Bert,
It's so good.
I've got it right over there. It's pretty
Yeah.
neat. It's
Yeah.
pretty neat.
It's good stuff. And if you found our channel, we stream on Tuesdays, Fridays, and Sundays. This Friday's BX Dungeons and Dragons. This Sunday is Shadowrun using the Powered by the Apocalypse system. There might be an extra stream this week, depending on how my throat ends up doing. And check out the podcast at BlueMagic, BLUMAGIK.com. And for the folks that are watching that are into Greyhawk, so the timeline that we're using right now is this is all happening before the events of the Temple of Elemental Evil. So this is early Greyhawk, to give you some idea of what's about to go down.
Nice.
All right, guys. Thank you for watching. Have a good one.
Bye,
Good
everybody.
night, everybody.